Okay, today I'll be going through this Tong school paper 2023 end of year P5 paper. Okay, so this will be paper 1, which means that you are not allowed to use the calculator. Alright, so let's begin. Okay, so question 1. So 312,089 visitors to an attraction last year. Express this number to the nearest thousands. Okay, so this is about rounding off. So nearest thousands means you identify the thousands place first, which is the 2 here. All right, and look at the neighbor on the right hand side. Neighbor on the right hand side is a 0. Okay, so normally I like to draw an arrow to show the rounding. So it's a 0. It's a weak number. So it means that 2 will remain as a 2. Everything else behind 2 turns to 0. So your answer should be option 3. Okay. Right, question 2. What is the value of this whole entire expression? So if you notice that there's a mix of minus, plus, times, and division. Okay, so and there's also brackets, of course. So remember your priority is to solve the things in the bracket first if there is a set of brackets there. So we have a bracket 6 plus 12 in there. So this, solve it, you have 18. All right. And the next thing is to solve the division or the multiplication. Now, but depending on which one comes first, when you read from left to right, you have to solve that first. Okay, so divide and times have the same ranking. All right, it's not true to say that times first, then you must do times first, then you do division later. No. All right, so it depends on which one comes first from left to right. So as you observe from left to right, the division comes first before the multiplication. So we have to solve this one first. Okay, 18 divided by 3 first, which is a 6. Lastly, we have 6 times 2. Okay, finally you can solve the 6 times 2, which is a 12. And now you can solve the subtraction, 30 minus 12. Okay, so 30 minus 12, you should have a 18. So that will be our option 3. Okay, next, which fraction is greater than half? All right, so if you want something greater than a half, now one way you can do is to make all the denominators the same as the two here. Okay, change to same denominator. That's fine, but actually that's of course more troublesome. Okay, so half actually is a very easy fraction to compare. Anything half means we split the total amount into two parts. Okay, split it into two equal parts. So one way to see this is if you look at option 1, 4 out of 7. If you just think about it, is 4 half of 7, more than half of 7, or less than half of 7? Okay, so if you're good with your numbers, 7 is, of course, is an odd number, but 7, if you split it into half, you should get 3.5, right? 3.5. Half will be 3.5, but 4 is already greater than 3.5. So that means option 1 should be your answer. It's definitely greater than half. Okay, if you look at 3 over 8, you see half of 8 is 4, right? 8 part, half must be 4 parts, but now it's only 3 out of 8. So this is less than half for sure. Okay, next one, same thing, 4 over 9. Half of 9 is about 4.5. 4 is lesser than 4.5, so this is smaller than half. Lastly, 5 over 10, this is exactly half. 5 is exactly half of 10. All right. Okay, question 4. Which of the following is equal to 3 wholes and 5 over 6? So this is improper fraction, right? All right, so simply 3 times 6 plus 5. Okay, so 3 whole and 5 over 6, 3. Just multiply these two things. 3 times 6, then plus 5, which is 23. 23 over 6. So that would be our option 3. Okay, so this is your P4 work. Changing mixed number to improper fraction. Next, what does the digit 9 in this stands for? Alright, so 9 is here. Notice that 9 is in the 10, sorry, no, 9 is in the hundredths place. Okay, so this 6 is in the 10th place. 9 is the hundredth, 8 is the thousandth. Alright, so 9 will be 900, which is option 3. Next, which of the following is likely to be the total mass of six $1 coins? Okay, so six pieces of $1 coins are okay. If you are familiar with how your $1 coin, what's the mass of it, right? Okay, if you hold it's actually very not that light. Okay, as compared to a 5 cent coin or 10 cent coin, of course, there's still some weights that you can feel. All right, so you must be clear about like maybe think about an object that you're familiar with to do the comparison. Okay, so 4,000 grams definitely is out. 4,000 grams is 4 kg. 4 kg is really heavy, right? Just imagine it's close to a bag of rice. A bag of rice is, see the supermarket is about, you can even carry up like a 2 kg, 5 kg rice. That's pretty heavy. So one is out. Okay, so I would say this is a bit too heavy also. 400 grams, this is more like fruits. Okay, if you carry like say apples, maybe you get like a few apples or two apples or three apples, that's about 400 grams. All right, so that's definitely way heavier than the six pieces of coins here. Okay, 4 grams I would say is too little also. 4 grams is really, really very tiny amount. All right. In fact, 4 grams, I would say it's lighter than an eraser, okay, and a normal eraser. So 40 grams would be the best fit in this case. Okay, 40 grams would be, yeah, I would say it's about like the mass of a few coins put together. Okay, so just be familiar with a few objects that you encounter with in your daily lives, or even objects that you have tried weighing before, especially when you go to the supermarkets, you've seen your parents weigh vegetables, fruits, and things like that on a weighing scale, you would roughly have a rough idea of how heavy is like 100 grams, how heavy is 1 kg, and things like that. Okay, so use that as your guideline. Okay, the next one. So this ratio, missing number here. So these are equivalent ratios that we see here. Now, something to 49 equals to 30 to 42. Okay, so we have something, let me just rewrite it in this manner. 30 to 42. Now, you notice that 49, I can't really simplify to 42. There's no way I can divide anything to this to get 42, right? Okay, so what you should do is to check if you can simplify this 30 to 42 first. Indeed, we can. You notice that 30 to 42. Okay, let me just put it at the side here, 30 to 42. Both sides, you can actually further divide by a 6. Okay, so divide by 6, that will give you 5 to 7. Okay, so it's a division of 6 on each side. Now, and finally, 5 here. Okay, so you notice the right-hand side number is 49. Okay, so in other words, I want to change this ratio to something to 49. So 7 to 49. 7 to 49, what can we multiply? We can multiply it by 7. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. So it's just equivalent ratio. So long as you understand that you have to simplify that second ratio first, then you should be able to tell. So 5 times 7 is 35. So your option is option 3. Okay, there's a lot of option 3s for this paper. Okay, the next one. In the figure, which two lines are parallel to each other? All right, I think it's pretty obvious. The parallel lines, it cannot be AD and BC, right? These two are obviously not parallel. So remember the definition of parallel is that both lines must run in the same direction and they will never ever touch each other. Okay, so in this case, I hope you can tell it's actually DC parallel to AB, right? So DC and AB, it will be option 4. Okay, next one, this is on the angles. They say EF, GH are straight lines. Which of the following is true? Okay, so straight lines they are a very good reference in angles because straight lines could be vertically opposite angles. You could also have angles on the straight line which is 180 degrees. Okay, so let's look at the options first. So they say angle A plus angle C is 180 degrees. A and C, that's definitely out. Okay, they're not even vertically opposite in the first place. All right, so you might want to use your highlighter to highlight the straight lines out. Then if let's say if you want to decide whether is it vertically opposite, it might be easier for you to tell also. Okay, so let me just highlight this. GH and EF. Okay, so next one, option 2, B plus C is 180. If you look at B plus C, it's not even on the straight line. Straight line must be EF. Okay, C is only up to here, only the smaller angle. So out. A equals to C. They say A equals to C. Okay, they're not even vertically opposite because vertically opposite means must follow the green lines that I've highlighted. Okay, angle B equals to angle D, definitely true. So option 4, vertically opposite angles. Then look at B and D. B is angled within this green V shape. D is angled within this also. Alright, so straight lines intersect each other to form vertically opposite angles. Right, so option 4. Next, area of triangle ABC. Okay, this is pretty simple. Identify your base and heights first. So the base, remember, choose a side that already has measurements for you. Of course, I'll choose BC as my base. Whereas the height perpendicular to the base, which is this dotted line here. Okay, so BC base is 11. 8 plus 3 is 11. So this is simply half times 11 times 4. Okay, how to do the multiplication for this when you can't take 11 and 2 to cancel off? It's okay. 2 and 4 can be the cancelled ones. So 2 cancel become 1, 4 cancel become 2. Once you have this, just take 1. 1 over 1 is 1. 1 times 11 times 2. That should give us a 2. Okay, so it's option 1. Okay, this one is on ratio. So ratio of apples to oranges is 5 to 2. So I'll first list out the ratio apples to oranges. 5 is to 2. Next, ratio of oranges to pears. So just follow the question. 1 is to 4. Okay. Then remember, when you have two ratios like this, you have to figure out what's your common base in this case. So your common base will be the repeated fruit, which I see is orange. So orange, this side you can times 2 to change it to 2 to 8. Underline the common base. Once you have underlined, read the question. They want the ratio of apples. Okay, apples to the total. So you need to identify the total also. All right. So apples is 5 units as we can see here. Total means we have to add up all the units for all the three fruits across. So 5U plus 2U from the orange plus the pears, which is now 8 units. Do not use 4U. Use the latest units that you have figured out. You, not 4U. Okay. So this will be 15 units. And hence, if you want to create apples to the total ratio, apples is 5, total is 15. Check if you can simplify this. 5 to 15 can simplify to be 1 is to 3. So it's option 4. Question 12. So the average mass of Ali, Boon, and Chai is 48 kg. Ali is 7 kg heavier than Boon. Ali is also 5 kg heavier than Chai. What is the mass of Ali? So they have given us the average. When you're given average, first thing is to work out the total mass first. Okay, so let's do that. Total mass means your average 48 multiplied by 3 of them. So this works out to be 144 kg for all of them, the total mass. Now, all these words heavier than, okay, all the comparison words heavier than means you would have to draw a model out because at this point, I do not know any of their masses also. So I only have all the comparison words here. So we're going to draw a simple comparison model. Ali heavier than Moon, let's start with that. Okay, so Ali will be 7 kg heavier than Moon. Okay, so I'll just put 7 here. This will be Moon. Okay, and next is, if you read on, they say Ali is also 5 kg heavier than Chai. So if Ali is 5 kg heavier than Chai, means Chai must be a little bit heavier than Moon. Maybe something like this. Okay? Because the difference between A and C must only be 5 kg difference. So this is your 5 kg gap. So we've done this recently, something similar in one of our average word problems. Okay, then of course our 144 kg must be listed here. Okay, so once this is done, now our next step is to cut all the 3 units. Cut it all, the whole, every model into such that there are 3 equal units. So I see Ali Boon is already 1U here, but Chai here don't have 1 unit shown. So I'm going to just bring it down. Okay, and this is how our 1 unit looks like. All right, so the 1U, 1U, 1U. Right? And of course, with this, you should notice that this part is actually a 2. 7 minus 5. Okay, this is a 2. So what you have to do next is to find your 3 units. But to find your 3 units means you must take your 144 minus the things that are in the boxes, minus the extra parts from the in the border boxes. Don't go and minus 5. Okay, so this 5 no longer serve any purpose already. So your 144, you should minus 7 minus 2 to get 3 units. Okay, so this is 135. So 1 unit, if you do the division, this will be 45 for each 1 unit. So now you want Ali's mass. Ali's mass, you notice is 1U with a 7. So simply it's a 45 plus 7. Find Ali. Okay, so Ali will be 52 kg. So that's option 1. All right. Question 13, AOB is a straight line. AOD, A to O to D, AOD is 100 degree. COB, C to O to B is 123 degree. Find angle COD, which is the one in the middle. So you notice COD is like the overlapping part between the 100 and the 123. Okay, so to find angle COD, okay, first what you should do is focus on one of the angles that's already given. Maybe what I'll do is I'll focus on 100 first. All right, so if you focus on 100, notice that this 100 is this one. Okay, which means that what you can do next is to find out, okay, is to find out this angle DOB first. Okay, so I'm just going to draw angle arc to find angle DOB. Because DOB and so the brown inks that are drawn here and the red one together lies on the straight line AOB. So the red plus the brown is 180 degrees. So angle DOB simply is 180 minus 100. So angle DOB is actually 80 degrees. So this is 80 degrees. Now with that, you should notice it's easier to find angle COD already because this 80 degrees is part of the 123. 123 is COB. The COD 80 is already part of the COB. So to find the question mark, you just need to simply take your 123 minus the angle COD, which is minus 80 degrees. So this will be 43 degrees. So that's option 2. Okay. Question 14. Ethan received $200 as a prize. He gave $70 to his mother. What percentage of the prize did he give to his mother? Okay, so when the question asks for percentage, first you should figure out what is the fraction to create first. So the fraction, what fraction of the price did Ethan give to his mother? So in this case, your numerator will be what he gave to his mother. Okay, and of course the bottom will be the prize money, which is the total that he has received. So what he gave to his mom was 70. So you don't have to go and take 200 minus 70 to find his leftover. Don't have to. Because I'm only interested in percentage that he has given to his mom. So give to his mom is the numerator of the fraction. Prize money is 200. Now, since you don't get to use calculator, you should go on to try to simplify this first. Okay, there are a few ways to simplify this. Since you can't use calculator, how do you change fraction to percent, right? You can go to times 100, that's fine, straight away, if you're good with your calculation. Otherwise, you can go on to make the denominator into 100. And you notice by doing this means it's 35 over 100. Divide by 2. Okay, so I'm dividing by 2 on at the top and the bottom. So do the same to the top also. And there you go. That means this will be a 35%. Option 2. Okay, question 15. A rectangular box is filled with some 1 cm cubes as shown below. How many more 1 cm cubes needed to fill up the box completely? Okay, so questions like that, you shouldn't be counting the spaces. It's very difficult to count. What you can consider doing is find and count the number of cubes that are already in there. So that's the first part. Secondly, you should find out what is the total cubes that I can really fit into the box maximum, at maximum capacity. All right, so let's first count the number of cubes that are already there. Okay, so counting, there are different strategies, depends on what you have learned in school or what you have learned at matrix math with your teachers. All right, so my way of counting is I like to count the bottom layer, middle layer, and the top layer. I like to go from bottom to top. Okay, it's like sandwich counting. So bottom, of course, is the hardest because bottom there are a lot of cubes. So bottom there's one, two, three on the left, four, five. Okay, so I repeat again. One, two, three. This here got three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So bottom there are 8 cubes. Middle layer, one, two, corner, three, four. Okay, so middle layer four, top of course is just one. So together there are 13 cubes currently. 8 plus 4 plus 1, that's 13 cubes. Okay, so maximum. Okay, what is the maximum number of cubes that I can fit? Okay, now to do this, you can actually simply look at the length, breadth, and the height. So the length, how many cubes can I fit? If you look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the length is 5. And you're going to multiply this by the breadth cubes. So the breadth will be 1, 2, and 3. So one, if you notice, you use this as a guide. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so 3 cubes to be fitted along the breadth. Along the height, you use the last, the corner here as a guide. 1, 2, and 3. Height, I can fit 3 also. So that will be 45 cubes here, maximum. Okay, total I can fit 45 cubes into the box. So simply 45 minus 13 to find out how many more to fit in. Okay, so that will be option 2. Okay, next. What is 6% of 3,100? Okay, so 6%, if I were to write it as a fraction, is 6 over 100. Of 3,100 means you can multiply 6% multiply by 3,100. Okay, and we can now proceed to multiply accordingly. Cancel the two zeros, become 1. 100 divided by 100, this one become 31. Okay, so this will be 31 times 6. 31 times 6 will be 186. Okay, next 10.5 minus 0.9. Sorry, 0.99. So 0.99. Make sure when you do the subtraction, the decimal point is aligned on top, stacked below and on top of each other. So you know this is a 0.5, 0.99. So your 0.5 at the back here, there's a gap here, there's a hole there. You should fill it out with a 0 so that your subtraction will not go wrong like this. Okay, so let's go on to subtract. So this will be 10, cancel, become 9. 15 become 14. Okay, so 10 minus 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. 14 minus 9 is 5. Okay, 9 minus 0 is 9. Alright, so that's it. 9.51. Okay, next one. Arrange fractions from smallest to the largest. Smallest to largest, if you notice that okay, 7 over 6, if I were to put this as a mixed number first, why is it mixed number? Because I see a mixed number here, 1 whole and 1/3. So if I put this as a mixed number, this will be 1 whole and 1 over 6. Okay, now if you notice, you compare all three fractions, obviously the smallest must be 4/5 because it's smaller than 1 whole. The rest are all bigger than 1 whole. There's a 1 whole in front. Right, 4/5 is confirmed the smallest. Okay. Then the next thing is you compare 1 and 1/6 and 1 and 1/3. 1 and 1, the 1 whole don't need to say lah. Don't need to compare. Just compare 1 over 6 and 1 over 3. Which one is smaller? Okay, so 1 over 6 would be the smaller one. Remember if both denominators, sorry, remember if both numerators are the same. You see why I highlight in green? 1 and 1 numerator. That means the one with the smaller, the one with the bigger denominator is a smaller fraction. Okay, so you just imagine the same cake, I eat 1 over 6 from it versus if I eat 1 over 3 from it. Obviously, the one that I cut into 1 over 6, right, is a smaller portion as compared to the 1 over 3 portion. Okay, so 7 over 6 will be your next smallest. And of course, lastly, 1 whole and 1/3. Remember to write back the original form. Do not put 1 and 1/6 here. Must put 7 over 6. Hey, original price of a tablet was $550. During the sale, Melvin was given a 30% discount. How much did he pay for the tablet? Okay, very nice. So the original price is given already. So you can straight away use the multiplication method. If you still prefer to use the units way, go ahead by all means, that's fine. All right, so I'm just going to stick to my method one. So during the sale, you get 30% discount. How much did he pay? So if you get 30% discount, what you're only paying would be 70%, right? 100 minus 30, you're only paying 70%. Okay, so now I simply need to use 70%, put it as a fraction, multiply by the original price to find out the amount that he's actually paying in the end, right? 0, 0 can cancel. This 0 also can cancel off. Lastly, it's just 7 over 1 times 55. 7 over 1 is 7 times 55. That gives us $385. Okay? Okay, next, find the value of 0.27 times 80. Okay, 0.27 times 80, right? Please do not go and do the long multiplication working. There is a way to do this actually quickly. So 0.27 times 80, you can split up the 80 into times 10, then times 8. I use 10 because then I can shift the decimal point easily. Okay, so 0.27 times 10 means you move the decimal point to the right side one time. Times 10 is 1. Move it 1. So this will be 2.7 times 8. Bring it down, no change. Finally, you can do your working for 2.7 times 8. At least it'll be easier for you to do the working from now. So this will be 21.6 if you have done the working. Okay, I shall not show the working. I assume that you all should know how to do that. Okay, 21. The figure is made out of 4 squares. Area of each square is 36. What is the perimeter of the figure? So they gave us area. Area of 1 square is 36. So immediately you should think of the side of the square. 36 equals to something times something. Okay, not 36 divided by 2, not 36 divided by 4. All these are your P4 basics. Don't forget that. Okay? So 36 equals to what times what? 6 times 6, if you're good with your multiplication right now. So that means every side here will be 6 here. Okay, now the question is for perimeter. Now questions like that, when you have squares that are not arranged in a nice manner, it's like staggered, okay, you should go on to use the highlight method, or some of the teachers, they like to call it cut and paste method. Alright, so what I do is I use the highlighter method. I will use 2 color highlighters. You should highlight together with me. 1 color for all the horizontal sides, the other color for all the vertical sides for the perimeter. So I will start off with the green one for all the horizontal sides first. So horizontal sides, you have 1, 2, 3. There's 3 sets of 6 here. Okay. This one also bottom, bottom, bottom. Okay, so I'll color code here. So notice that means 1, 2, 3. That's 18 cm, right? For the top. 3 green one. 1, 2, 3. So that's 18 cm. Okay, bottom also another 18. Now I'm going to use a pink highlighter for the vertical side. So vertical sides, don't forget this also, and this. Okay, now let's talk about the vertical side on the left hand side first. So this and this and this, how do I know what do they exactly add up to? Because it's impossible to find this small part. It's impossible to find this part also. Although I do know this one is 6 here, right? Okay, so look at how the squares are arranged. You notice actually these 3 pink lines, the 3 color pink lines, right, adds up to be the same as 2 sets of 6 yen. Here 6 yen, here 6 yen. Notice that? So 3 pink lines together is the same as 2 sets of 6 here. Alright, so that means that will be 12 cm for the left hand side. Now it should be the same on the right hand side. So this line, again pink highlighter up, this line, and this line. So same thing, these 3 pink sides, 1, 2, 3, should also be the same as this stretch, which is another 12 cm. Alright, so this works out to be 60 cm. Okay, next one. 3 friends shared the cost of 60 mangoes in the ratio 1 to 2 to 2. Okay, so what was the cost of the smallest share? Alright, so 60 mangoes are shared by 3 friends in this cost. So friend 1, friend 2, friend 3, like you can call it that way. Okay, so since there are 5 units altogether, right? 2 plus 2 plus 1, 5 units are actually the 60 mangoes. You can actually write that down first. And of course, just find 1 unit. So 1 unit is 12 mango. So this will be the smallest share. Okay, the smallest share for the first friend. Now they ask for the cost of the smallest share. So if you look at the special offer here, it's $10 for 1 box of 15 mangoes. Okay, so that's the offer here. So $10. Maybe I should write it this way. A box of 15 mangoes, huh? So 15 mangoes is $10. But since the 3 friends are sharing 60 mangoes, we can find out the cost of these 60 mangoes, right? Let's see, I'll try to do it this way. 60 mangoes. Yeah, I think let's just find out the cost of 60 mangoes first. Okay, so this side will be times 4. 60 mangoes will be 4 sets of 15. So you have to times 4 to the cost as well. So $10 times 4. This will be $40 for all the 60 mangoes. Okay, so with that, you can go on to find out what is the cost of the 12 mangoes that the first friend is taking. That's the smallest share that he's taking. So actually, if you notice, 60 to 12, right, is actually a division of 5. Divide by 5. Hence, this one also divide by 5. $40 divided by 5, that gives us $8. So that is our answer. Okay. Okay, the next one. Joash stacked 14 cubes to form this solid. So they want you to draw the front view and also the top view. Okay, so front view, let's do the front view first. Front view, what we should be seeing, our color. So this is your front view. This, oops, space. Okay, and you should notice this one also. It's peeking out from on top. You have to include that also. Okay, this also. Now you should know why I should not include this one here because this one is hidden behind the front cube here. Okay, they are on the same level. And lastly, this one. Right. So there you go. You can draw out the front view. Let's start with here. Okay, and the next is two cubes here. Okay, let me redraw. My line is very crooked. I don't like it. Okay, and lastly, the bottom. There's one cube there. Okay, so this is the front view. All right, the next one is we'll do the top view. So top view must look at from above here. So I'm gonna shade those top view squares that I should observe in blue color. Okay, so this one definitely you'll see. You'll see this also. And you should see this one also. I can't really show it here, but it's here. Okay, you will definitely see this. This will be exposed if you are looking at it from the top. And this one also, of course. All right, so that will be one, two, three, four. Four squares in a column. So I'm just going to draw like four squares like that first. Okay. Now next is the second column. So this will be exposed. This one also. So that's another two already. Make sure you know where to place those two. Okay, it's connected with at the top here. And lastly, we have this one, two, three. Okay, so those three will be connected here, right? Yeah. So that's it. That's how your top view looks like. Okay, Bing drew three circles to form a figure. The areas of the circles were in the ratio 1 to 4 to 16. Okay, let's call it small, medium, large circle. All right, small, medium, large circle. So 1 to 4 to 16. She then shaded some of the parts as shown in the figure below. So actually, if you notice what she shaded is the small circle and also like this big portion here, but it's not the full big circle that she's shading. All right. So find the ratio of the total area of the shaded parts to the area of the shaded part. So you can see this diagram as overlapping shapes. The small is overlapping onto the medium circle. Medium circle is overlapping onto the bigger circle. All right. So they want total area of the shaded parts. Let's figure out what are the shaded parts first to the area of the unshaded part. So first, you should start to annotate whatever you know first into the diagram. So the small will be the easy one. Small is 1U. So this is a 1U here. All right. Now for this unshaded part, so you should see this as three different parts. Small, unshaded, shaded. That's what we observe from our eyes. We see on the diagram small, the small circle, the white color part, and the last big color gray color part. This small gray part is 1U. Let's figure out how many units is the white part. So you cannot say you cannot say 4U is the white part. Cannot. Because 4U is the whole medium circle, including this one. Okay, including this one. So together, for you is the whole entire medium circle. But this white color part is only like partly exposed. The medium circle is partially exposed. So to find this white part, you gotta take 4U minus away 1U. Alright, so 4U minus 1U to find the unshaded part. So the unshaded part is actually 3 units here. So let's write it down in the diagram. Okay, now we can now find the largest gray area. So same thing, largest gray area, you cannot say this is 16 units because 16 units is the whole entire large circle, Imagine I shade this whole entire thing, then that whole thing is 16 units. This gray part is only partially exposed. All right. So to find this gray part, one way you can do is you can just take your 16U minus away these two things. Or you can take 16U minus away the whole medium circle, that means 60 minus 4, also can. All right, so either way, it's fine. So let's call that the big gray part, the big unshaded part. Oh, sorry, big shaded part. So both are fine. You can take 16 minus 4 also can. 4 is the whole medium circle. That works also. All right. So total shaded parts. The question was total shaded, right? For the ratio. So 12U is the big one. Sorry, I forgot to annotate. So this is your 12U. So 12U plus 1U shaded, the small circle. So finally, we can write ratio of shaded to the unshaded. So shaded to unshaded. So shaded is 13, right? 13. Unshaded is 3U as we see from the diagram. And this is the simplest form already. 13 is to 3. Okay, let's look at question 25. So they say A, B, C, D is a parallelogram. ADE is 32. I believe the E is missing here. You may need to fill it out. Off. So this is E. All right. And DCE? DCE, 46 here. They say DCE is 54. Find angle Z here. Okay. So to find angle Z, you will definitely need angle DEC first. This inner angle here. All right. So later we're going to work towards that first. So notice that these two angles are already provided, which is a corner of the parallelogram. Now, remember for parallelogram, you have parallel lines. The good thing about parallel line is you can use the U-shape property, the F-shape property, the Z-shape property. For this case, the U-shape property is very helpful. So I'm going to highlight the U-shape out. You should highlight too so that you know what I'm talking about. So this U-shape that I'm highlighting, can you see that? Which also means that angles in these two corners, this whole corner and this whole corner adds up to 180 degrees. Okay, so based on that logic, maybe let's just put a note there. So angle ADC plus angle BCD adds up to 180 degrees. Okay, so now with this, that means I can find angle ADC first. Because if I will find angle ADC, I just take my 180 minus the 46 minus the 54. Basically minusing the corner here to get the sum of, to get the angle ADC for the left corner. So this is 80 degrees. Now if ADC is 80 means I can find angle EDC inside the triangle ring. So you see, I'm slowly working my way towards the inside of the triangle. So 80 minus 32. Okay, so now I know that this is 48. We should write that down, 48 degrees. Now, which means that if I focus on the triangle next, in this triangle, you notice I have two corners really, 46 and 48. Now I can find the third corner angle DEC. Just take 180 minus the 48 degree minus the 46 degree. So angle, the three corners in the triangle add up to 180. Remember that. So 86 degrees is here. Okay, so let's annotate now. This is 86 degrees. So finally, we can find angle Z. Angle Z given is uh, a huge reflex angle. So these two, 86 and angle Z, adds up to 360 because they are angles at a point. Okay, they meet at a point here. So simply 360 minus 86, which gives us 274. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll move on to question 26. Priya spends 5/9 of her money on some pens and 1/4 of the remainder on 3 notebooks. You see the word of the remainder. So immediately you should think of drawing a model first. Okay, so we're going to start by drawing 5/9, the 9 units first. Okay, so out of 9 units, we know that Priya is going to spend 5 units on some pens. Now, and they say 1/4 of the remainder on 3 notebooks. Do you notice that the remainder luckily is already 4 units? So 1/4 of the remainder means the 4 units must be the remainder. Luckily, it's also 4 units here already. So this remainder means you can safely label 1 unit here for 3 notebooks. If what you have done is you redraw the remainder into a new layer at the bottom and then you cut it into 4, also can. Okay, that's not wrong also. So just keep it that way, it's fine. Now they said a notebook costs 4 times as much as a pen. Okay, so this 4 times, we are going to write it as a ratio. And we call that the cost ratio. So cost ratio, because it's not quantity ratio, we write down the word cost to remind ourselves that this is the pricing ratio, the money ratio. So notebook versus pen is 4 to 1. The notebook is 4 times more uh, as expensive as the pen. Okay, so now for this, how do I begin? So if you look at the question, right, there's these 3 notebooks that we can start working with first. Every notebook, read this as every notebook costs 4 units. Okay, not 4 notebooks, huh? This is cost ratio. A notebook costs 4 units. So if you have 3 notebooks, how many units do they cost? Okay, so simply 3 notebooks, the cost will be 4U times 3. I put U there to remind myself this units is the money units. So you should do the same. Put down the units. Put down U so that it reminds you this is the money. Alright, so now you found out that 12U is actually this one. This in this model here. Every model block is now 12 units worth of money. Now this we can find out how much she spent on the pens, right? So spend on pens, which is 12U times 5. Because there are 5 sets here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sets of 12U. So she spent 60 units on the pens. Okay. Now remember every pen costs 1 unit. Look back at the ratio. Every pen costs 1 unit. How many pens do I need to spend to pay 60 units? Okay, so if you want to find number of pens, means you have to do the division, not multiplication. So you are using the cost, 60 units is the cost, remember, dividing by 1U from the ratio, which means that she paid for 60 pence. So this question, I would say the challenging part is differentiating between the quantity and the value. You have to be very clear with your ratio. You have to be very clear to remind yourself that this ratio is the money ratio. The notebook costs 4 units, the pen costs 1 unit, like this. Okay, then you can do the multiplication accordingly with, find a relationship between the ratio and your model units from there. right? Thanks. So the table shows the rate of charges for each overdue book borrowed from a library. So for the first 7 days, they will charge you 20 cents per day. Just take note, this is per day. And after 7 days, subsequently, it will be 50 cents per day. So Peter borrowed a book and the book was overdue. By the time he returned it, he paid $3.90 for the overdue book. So how many days was it overdue? Okay, so we have to make use of the 390 to work backwards to find out how many days he overdue for the book. All right. So for this question, definitely your first 7 days have to be involved in the calculation first. All right. So no matter what the amount that you're paying for the overdue charges, the priority is to take the first 7 days into calculation first, not the after 7 days. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate out for the first 7 days, how much has he owed the library. So first 7 days altogether, it's definitely still lesser than 390. Okay, so for the first 7 days is 20 cents per day. I'll just put 0.20 times 7. So this is $1.40 for the whole of that first 7 days. Right? Which means that now you can the remaining amount you notice that he owed the library 390, but the first 7 days he owed 140. So that means he has owed the library for more than 7 days. That's what it means. Okay, so you can use your 390 minus away the 140 first. So this $2.50 would fall into the after 7 days category. Okay, so your 250 would fall into this category here. Right? Now, which means that this 250, I can go on to find out how many days for me to accumulate $2.50. So you can just do the division. 50 cents per day, right? So divide by 50 cents. So this will be 5 days. Okay, so 5 days is for the second category. After 7 days, I owe for another 5 days. So now total days that I overdue will be 5 days plus the first 7 days. So that's 12 days in total for the overdue. Okay, question 3. Okay, Dexter has $27 more than Asher. After Asher gave $6 to Dexter, Dexter had 4 times as much as Asher. So questions like that, you have to draw a model because they started off with more than, that's a comparison word, and then there's a transfer, and then there's a 4 times in the end. So this model will be the best to illustrate this whole thing. Okay, so Asher and Dexter. So Asher will be a smaller model from the beginning. Dexter would be a lot more. Let's exaggerate the $27. So Asher gave $6 to Dexter. So what we're going to do is we're going to show a transfer. Asher is going to give away $6. So you're going to cut away $6 and shade it off from Asher. This is the $6 amount. And this will be moved to give to Dexter. So Dexter's model has to extend by that $6. Make sure the size is the same as the shaded part. Okay, so after this, they said that Dexter now has 4 times as much as Asher. So if you can't cut the model into 4 equal parts, it's okay. You don't have to cut. Just go on to label the model for you, want you, good enough. So Dexter 4 times means Dexter the whole thing, including the $6 at the back. Okay, now the whole entire stretch is 4 units. Asher will have 1 unit because Dexter is 4 times of Asher, so Asher is 1U. Where's Asher's 1U? It's only the white color part here. not the $6. Okay, only the white portion here. All right. So I hope y'all can tell there's a 3 units difference. And this 3 units difference, it should start from here, this dotted line, all the way until the end. This is the 3 units difference that we should be working with now. All right. So 3 units starts from the dotted line now because the 1 unit ends here now. So the next 3 units have to begin right after, right from here, all the way to the end because the 4 units ends all the way here also. All right. So let's go on to solve for the 3 units. So 3 units simply is adding those numbers that you see there. You see $6, part of the 3 units, 27, and also another $6 here. So three numbers to add up, 27 and the two sixes. So of course, remember to work out 1 unit. So they ask you what was the amount Asher had in the end. If you look at Asher in the end, it's actually just the 1 unit white color part. So actually there you go. You already have 1 unit, which is $13. Alright. Okay, next. ACD and BCE are straight lines. So two straight lines cut each other to intersect here. So immediately I hope you can recognize that these two are the same angles, vertically opposite angles. Okay, so 55 is ABE here, DEB is 114, DAB here, 90 degree. Find angle ADE. So ADE is this angle here. Alright, so this is your interested angle. Okay, so first I think we can work with the first triangle. You notice there are two triangles here. The first triangle, triangle ABC. I have 90 degree here, I have 55 here. I can find the third angle, angle ACB. So we call this angle ACB. Must know how to name angles, yeah, by the way. So angle ACB, just take your 180 minus the other two corners. So this works out to be 35 degree. So here, this is 35 degree. Write it back down onto the diagram. So remember, these two are straight lines. Straight lines that cross and meet here means this is vertically opposite of this angle, the same angle, 35 here also. So that's easy already. We can find the third angle here, angle ADE, which is here. So you work with this triangle now. Two corners are already there. So angle ADE, just take your 180 minus 114 minus 35. So this works out to be 31 degree. Alright, let's move on. Okay, triangle ABC is drawn by joining the dots on the square grid as shown below. Okay, so they really draw ABC for you. On the grid below, draw triangle ACD with the same area as triangle ABC. ACD does not overlap with ABC. Okay, so first you must understand that the points that these two triangles share in common. Notice the points in common is A and C. Oops, sorry. Let me just erase this. Okay, so A and C are the common shared points. So in other words, you have to make use back of this line AC to create your triangle ACD. So that means D, most likely, if you don't want, you cannot let it overlap with ABC, right? Your point D must be somewhere below here, below this line, for sure. Okay, now then from here, how do you make sure same area? Now to have the same area, right, you notice that ACD and ABC should share the same base. So the same base would be line AC. AC would be the common base shared by these two triangles. Okay, so let's just put a note here. The common base shared between triangle, shared between both triangles. Okay, I'll just put it like this. Alright, so AC is a common base shared between both triangles. So that means if I were to fold, I just need to calculate what's the height of triangle ABC first. So the height, if you observe, is actually this one. Okay, 1U, 2U, 3U, 4U. So every gap is 1 unit. Alright, so that's 4 units of height. So that means for the height for the ACD, it should also be 4 units also. Okay, so I think you can actually just go on to use the same height. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, which means that your point D should be here. All right, then with that, you can just use your ruler to connect from A to D and C to D. Okay, something like that. I'm drawing on the laptop, so it's a little bit tougher. Okay, like this. Okay, so that's your triangle ACD. Remember to put your point D down, yeah? Okay, the next one. Okay, so on the grid below, draw a square with thrice the area of triangle ABC. All right, so let's look at triangle ABC again. Remember, we figured out the height is 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Now let's look at the base. Let's count how many units is the base. So you count the gaps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so base is 6 units worth. All right, so that means if I were to find triangle ABC, it's simply half times 6 times 4, which is 12. Which also means the area of the square must be 12 times 3, 36, because the square is thrice in area, thrice the area of this ABC here. Alright, so I need to make sure by square I draw an area of 36 units square. Now to get 36 means the side of the square, you gotta think of 36 equals to what times what, because a square has equal sides all over it. Okay, so 6 times 6, which also means I need to draw a square with 6 units on the vertical side, 6 units on the horizontal side. Length 6 units, breadth 6 units. Okay, so you can just start from anywhere. Let's start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's it. This is how your square will look like with thrice the area of ABC. Okay, so 6 gaps. Okay, so we've come to the end of the paper. I hope this has been a helpful session. So thank you very much for listening in.